Survivor Series is 6 days away, and the WWE has proven that they do not care about the pay-per-view at all. It's taken me some time to admit this, but I think it is finally official. I don't think that WWE considers Survivor Series one of the big four pay-per-views anymore. Money in the Bank has taken that spot. They have obviously put more effort into that show for the last decade compared to Survivor Series. It's a real shame because it should be the second or third biggest event of the year, and that clearly isn't the case this year. The WWE literally announced the Raw and SmackDown teams through social media on Twitter. What's even worse is that they've literally been changing the teams on the most recent episodes of Raw and SmackDown. The creative team and or Vince McMahon have changed their minds about the teams at the very last second. There is absolutely no build up for the show, and that just sucks. This is a trend that we've seen for many years now. The WWE has put Survivor Series on the back burner, and it's practically a B-level pay-per-view. I even feel like they tried even harder on something like TLC in the previous years. I'm telling you, the WWE does not view Survivor Series the same way anymore. It should be the prestigious event that happens around Thanksgiving time each year. People should be excited for it, and yet we're not. Like, I understand that the wrestling on the show is probably going to be good, but without a proper build-up, there is really no point to that match. Wrestling thrives when there's a reason to watch the fight. When it lacks that motive, it just does not hit the same way. And that is going to happen this Sunday. I thought it would be cool to make a video to find and analyze the moment where the WWE ruined Survivor Series and the moment where they pretty much gave up on the concept. With that being said, let's get right into the video. The main reason why I think Survivor Series is so prestigious is because it was the second pay-per-view that Vince McMahon created. After the success of the first ever WrestleMania, McMahon needed to follow up with another event that would get people excited, and that is when you insert Survivor Series. Because the NFL always had a big game on Thanksgiving, McMahon wanted to capitalize on this idea, and so Survivor Series would be born. Similar to football, he created this event to feature some of the biggest names on separate teams. The first ever Survivor Series took place on November 26 in 1987 with a blockbuster main event. In the middle of the rivalry, it was essentially Team Hogan versus Team Andre the Giant. This match was stacked, having the biggest names in the WWF at the time competing all in the ring at the same time. The pay-per-view concept was a total hit. Wrestling fans around the world were in love and wanted to see more. Therefore, Survivor Series was here to stay. It wasn't just a one-time pay-per-view. No, it actually became one of the pillars of the Big Four pay-per-views in the WWE. Because Survivor Series has been around for so long, there is a lot of history surrounding this event. As mentioned earlier, we had the iconic debut of the pay-per-view in 1987 with a stacked main event match. Hogan and Andre the Giant made history at WrestleMania 3, and that is why this match had so much hype around it. People wanted to see the storyline continue between these two giants, these two superheroes. That's what they were, a villain and a superhero. Survivor Series provided that for the fans. 3 years later in 1990, and The Undertaker would make his debut in the WWE at Survivor Series, and this would forever change the company. Taker became a staple of the promotion and is a main reason why the WWE flourished for so many years. That really shows that Vince McMahon saw the pay-per-view as a big deal. If he booked his greatest creation to debut at this event, it was clearly a big show. The Undertaker also did a really good job at showcasing his skills in the match. He didn't wrestle too much, but he had the right amount of time in the ring to show the audience that this man was here to become a superstar. There was also another iconic moment that occurred in 1990 at that Survivor Series event. Who could forget about the egg hatching revealing the gobbledygooker? It's definitely some history that will never be forgotten when thinking about Survivor Series. 2 years later in 1992, and we witnessed a piece of the Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart rivalry. the main event of the show saw Bret Hart successfully defend the WWF Championship belt against HBK. There was another legendary debut that happened at Survivor Series that created another superstar, and that man goes by the name of Rocky Maivia, who wrestled in his first match at Survivor Series in 1996. He would go on to become a star in the business and an even bigger star in Hollywood. Back to the Michaels and Hart feud, and that clearly was far from over. 5 years later, and in 1997, they would revisit their feud between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Things were different this time around. We were now in the beginning of the Attitude Era. Shawn Michaels was a rebel, and Bret Hart was a heel that only Canada liked at the time because the man despised America. And the WWF champion was on his way out to WCW. The only problem was that he didn't come up with a conclusion to his match with the Heartbreak Kid, and that is when Vince McMahon created his own plan. He called for the bell to end the match when Hart never tapped. That was the infamous Montreal Screwjob. It's easily one of the most impactful moments in professional wrestling. So many things happened as a result of this moment. Wrestling would be entirely different if this event never transpired. The next year, Vince McMahon screwed Mankind this time around, forming an alliance with The Rock, who he would make the corporate champion. 2001 saw Team Alliance versus Team WWF, with the winner taking all, and yes, I'm aware that many people feel like the storyline was botched, but you gotta admit, this had a big fight feel to it, and it was also a real fun match with a ton of star power. 2002 saw the debut of the Elimination Chamber match type. 2005 saw the first ever Team SmackDown versus Team Raw match, and as a young kid, I absolutely adored that match. It was so good, and I watched it again, and it's still so good. It holds up. As you can see, this used to be a big pay-per-view that you needed to watch. It was a pay-per-view that belonged in the Big Four. However, things changed, and now we have to take a look at the moment when WWE ruined the pay-per-view. The moment when WWE ruined Survivor Series was the main event match in 2014 when Dolph Ziggler defeated Seth Rollins with the help of Sting. Therefore, Team WWE defeated Team Authority, and as a result, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon would lose their power. They were no longer in control of Raw and SmackDown. I know what you're thinking, how could this be the moment when the WWE ruined it because the build-up was good and the match was also good as well? Well, the WWE ruined Survivor Series concept because the Authority literally came back a month later. That ruined the purpose of this big match. There were no long-lasting consequences at all. Nobody gained anything and nobody lost anything either. We were back at square one. You look at this match and you say to yourself, okay, so I watched this 30, 40, 50-minute match, whatever it was, for nothing. I guess, whatever. You know what I mean? And then Survivor Series just became a regular pay-per-view with nothing to offer. The WWE then brought back the brand split and has been using that concept for brand supremacy since 2016. The problem with that is that there aren't any consequences or rewards for the pay-per-view similar to 2014. Literally, SmackDown won more matches in 2016 and they got nothing. Raw destroyed them in 2018 and nothing happened either between that brand. There aren't even general managers anymore. It's essentially Adam Pearce booking the show for himself for fun. It just has no logic. Sure, we had some great matches like Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan, or even Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, and even Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, which was really good, but there was really no purpose for the Survivor Series anymore. You can name it any other pay-per-view, and it would essentially be the same thing. There's no logic, there's no rewards, there's no consequences, it's just a pay-per-view that does not have that same hype anymore. The WWE can fix it, but they just don't care. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Let me know your thoughts on when you think the WWE ruined Survivor Series in the comments below. On the screen right now are some other videos that you should totally check out if you have some free time, so go ahead and click one of them. I will see you all in the next video.